I'm Rock. I'm a wheelchair user. I have cerebral palsy, which is a neurological condition that I've had since birth. And I work full time for Motability Operations, who look after everything on the Motability Scheme. So the Motability Scheme, being around many, many years, it allows people to have choice, independence and freedom with a worry-free package of motoring support, which allows them to have a vehicle of their choosing to get around, to get out in the community, to go shopping, to go to work, to go to hospital appointments, to go on holiday, to go around Europe if that's what they want to do. All sorts of things. A vehicle can bring a whole range of different ranges of freedom to an individual's life. And the main important thing is that with Motability, if anything goes wrong with your vehicle, throughout its lease with us, then it's all taken care of. So anybody basically who receives the higher rate of a mobility allowance, so either the higher rate of the mobility allowance through disability living allowance, or the enhanced rate of the personal independence payment, both of which are administered by the Department for Work and Pensions, otherwise known as DWP, our wonderful friends in London, and they will make the qualifying decisions as to whether somebody is eligible or not. Obviously, we all know the way in which PIP is administered is all about the amount of points you get. It's a minefield benefit system. But if anybody does have any queries around benefits or their entitlements to benefits, I always say to try and go to your local Citizens Advice Bureau, CAB, available to everyone in their local areas, and they are fully qualified, load of volunteers that will be able to sit with you or talk to you over the phone about your entitlements to different benefits, and just make sure you're getting everything that you're entitled to. How you apply nowadays, we're trying to help everybody to apply, or those who are able to and feel confident to be able to do so. We ask them to go to our website, and it talks them through how to, once they got their award letter from DWP stating the qualifying benefit name on that award letter and how long they got that for. And for some people, that will be for a limited amount of time. For other people, it'll be a qualifying, it'll be a lifetime award. But the main thing is, as long as you got 12 months or more on your award, you are eligible for applying to the Motability Scheme. We ask people to go to our website, which is www.motability.co.uk, and then basically you can choose from there. You can go several different routes. You can look at what vehicles are available. Lots of people do that before they even decide to apply or not, because obviously if you haven't got the right vehicle or they don't like what they see, some people obviously just disappear. And obviously we don't want people to disappear. We want them to stay and find out more. Or you can give our friendly customer services team a ring, either in London or in Bristol. The numbers are exactly the same. It would just depend on where your call gets routed through to. They're all trained to the same degree, so and they'll be able to answer any questions and basically talk you through the process. But what I would encourage people to do is, if you are going to have what I call a standard vehicle, so a Ford Focus or a Audi or whatever local dealership of your choice, go to your local dealer, because every local dealer that we approve, is Motability approved, will have a Motability specialist within the dealership, and that person will be able to talk you through the ins and outs of what vehicles are on the scene that they currently provide in the dealership. So say it's BMW, so they'll talk to you about everything BMW, and also what all the qualifying allowances are to do with that vehicle. So when I say allowances, what we mean by that is something called the advance payment. So say you want a BMW, for argument's sake. I got nothing. I don't work for BMW. It's something that came to my mind. So basically, you'd have to pay an advance payment towards the cost of that vehicle, and then that money you don't see again. That's a one-off payment, and that's like when you buy anything. That's like your cost towards the cost of that the vehicle, and then your allowance goes the whole Motability allowance. So the Motability allowance that you've elected for us to administer for you goes towards the overall cost of that vehicle throughout its lease term. So you don't get to see that money again once it comes over to us. So once you've got the qualifying allowance that's administered by a Department for Work and Pensions, anybody can support anybody with an application. The only thing we ask is on the application form itself. I think on the last page it will say, have you had support or help to fill in this application? If so, can we just take your name and address of the person that supported you throughout this process? So that just allows us to then go back to that person if there's any questions that our application team might have when they put through the application, or any questions that the dealership might have when they're processing your application. Obviously, Motability is known for our vehicles, known for our automotive side of things, but we also do have what we call micro mobility products, and they are, to you and I, they are powered wheelchairs and scooters. We have a whole network of shops that we work with who can, on the high street, a lot of them, who are able to talk you through some of the products that are available on the scene. And a bit like the car scene, you have that for a certain amount of years, and then we look either to reassess or whether you want to have a new one, and providing it still meets your needs. So you don't get pipped. You're very welcome to go and approach anybody advertising on our that's approved by Motability. Obviously, you know that they've gone through a rigorous supply chain check. So, and they all operate a private client list, and it's also a good way of finding out what's on the market. And obviously, the whole benefit of being with Motability is that we know that it's 45% cheaper than your average lease with a normal vehicle. But if you did decide to go private, you're more than welcome to approach any of our suppliers, and they can come out and do home visits where it is a wheelchair accessible vehicle you're looking for, and that's free of charge, or you just want a standard vehicle with a few adaptations, and then obviously go to any of our approved dealers, and many of them available in your local area, and they normally fly in a nice big flag outside saying Motability, so that's always a good recommendation. But MOT servicing, breakdown cover through RAC, and then windscreen replacement through our partners at Autoglass, and then tyre replacement through QuickFit. Getting the right adaptation, getting the right solution for customers is our business. So our range of adaptation partners that work with us closely on the scheme can offer things like boot hoists. So if you've got a manual wheelchair and you need a bit of support with lifting that manual wheelchair into the back of your saloon vehicle, then we can put a boot hoist on the vehicle for you. We can do a roof box for you if that's more convenient, and there can be a hoist attached to that for people. If you want to put your electrical scooter or your micromobility scooter into back of the car, in the same way we can put a hoist on that can carry quite heavy loads into the back of a vehicle, so that's quite a good solution. And obviously, with regard to driving adaptations, the world is your oyster. I mean, there are a huge number of driving adaptations available for individuals. So we've obviously got our standard driving adaptations that you might see on a standard vehicle, like your instant controls on the wheel of the motor vehicle, which can include a handle to properly grip the steering wheel to help the individual to drive. Some you can have your pedals at different heights at different places. You can have buttons rather than pedals. Um, so there's a whole multitude of different things available. I wouldn't even begin to list them all, but I mean the two main ones are your different steering adaptations, your different pedal arrangements, and also your different ranges of hoist available to help with equipment. When we talk about a drive from wheelchair accessible vehicles, that's a vehicle that especially adapted to take a wheelchair, but allows the wheelchair user to drive from the wheelchair. So they would drive into the rear of the vehicle typically, and then drive right through to the front to the driving position, where they can dock their wheelchair into position, so they can clamp it into position, so it's secure throughout the journey, and then they'll be able to drive from their wheelchair because the driving seat is removed from the driving position, and the wheelchair user will sit where the driving seat would be. In the same way, if you want a front wheelchair passenger vehicle, in the same way as I've just described, you would also then just remove the passenger seat, and the passenger could then travel alongside their partner. So we do have quite a lot of families and people that want to be together, married couples, and people in different situations that just want to have a conversation. Now, obviously, all of that begins to cost a bit more, as you can imagine, because the upfront cost of all of that can be quite large. But for some people, that's worth a weight in gold. I had an upfront passenger vehicle for many years, and I found it life changing.
Yeah.
So I think it's worth the cost. but it is a consideration for people. Yeah, a lot of our time at the moment at Motability operations is spent trying to understand what this electrical transition is going to mean for our customers. And by 2035, we got to transition everybody over onto electric vehicles as we understand it, unless the mandate changes, but that's what we're working to at the moment. And there's lots of vehicles available on the scheme, and we do have a lot of incentives to try and help customers who want to try electric out. So the first thing to say is, if you did want to try before you buy type scenario, which we all like, we got our EV experience days, and dates of which are on the website. So I'd encourage you to go and book on one of those. You can go and meet our friendly teams at the various venues, and they can talk you through all the different vehicles. So you've got all the manufacturers. What you then do is have a chance to drive, try out in a nice, safe environment what it's actually like to drive one. And then if that all goes well and you want to continue, then you can just order one in the same way that you order any of the other vehicles that we offer. But the other advantage with an electric one is that in most cases we offer a home charging solution. If for some reason we're unable to put a charge point in a very few cases, there are other solutions. So we have something that is like a charge card. So BP petrol stations are all over the UK. So we're part of a Pulse network. So BP Pulse network is all over the UK, and we'd issue you a charge card.